Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to the real world. Oh, I should have done the Matrix quote. Oh, would have been fitting, I guess. But anyway, we've finally returned to Hollow Bastion. I have no idea why I broke into a John or F. Kennedy voice. But yeah, it's gonna, well, I initially thought this was gonna be the part for revelations and plot things, but no, that's actually gonna be saved for a bit. We are gonna be meeting a certain familiar face that wasn't allowed until the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, though. So, yeah. Basically, we're gonna be meeting His Royal Highness himself. But I mean, really, what we're doing out here is just to find the password for Tron. But, yeah. And another thing is that we're pretty much going to be finishing off, well, part 1 of episode 2, scene 3 of Tron's World. And of course, Tifa's also looking for that password because she's also looking for Cloud. And, I guess I should probably explain Tifa's deal since this... we've got a bit of time, but basically she's looking for Cloud. Why? I don't know, I guess she has some degree of beef with, you know, Cloud and Sephiroth's battle for light and darkness. I mean, considering the fact that this isn't, you know, the same Tifa from Final Fantasy VII and a lot of this stuff, I don't think would really apply given the story of that game, but I don't know. I guess maybe Birth by Sleep would have delved into this if they expanded upon the Final Fantasy characters from Kingdom Hearts, but I don't know, her involvement in the plot is just kind of bizarre, which is why I did want a continuation of the Cloud and Sephiroth thing in KH2 to explain this, you know? Whatever.
Excuse me?
Well, thanks, Tifa. Your contribution was minimal. Go on, tunnel off to find Cloud, who will never reciprocate your feelings, because you were the popular kid, he was the loser. Could it be any more obvious? And of course, he must maintain his vows to Sora's mum, Aerith. Yes, I will always follow that. Anyway, let's get on with the plot.
What's this doodle?
Hello? Bed. Security. Tron. Door.
Looks like a diagram or something.
Door. Darkness.
Oh! D. T. D.
DTD!
What's up?
Look at this! This must be the data space. The DTD. See? The door to darkness.
What do you know? But that still leaves the password.
Say, fellas, did somebody mention the door to darkness?
Because that's what you open when you sign a deal with Disney.
Your Majesty! Long time no see.
Shh. The organization might be listening. You mentioned the door to darkness?
Oh, yes, sir. You see, we're looking for the secret password.
Password? Oh, I guess you mean like a code. Well, the door to darkness can only be opened by the 7 princesses. There's Snow White, Jasmine, and Belle.
Of course.
What are you trying to do?
With that password, we can get access to Ansem's research data.
So that means you might be able to find out where he is.
Stop joking around, Your Majesty. We already defeated Ansem. You know that.
Looks like I've got a lot of explaining to do.
You're listening, Your Majesty.
Okay, but first I've got a question.
Hey, isn't Tron waiting for you guys?
Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. If those Heartless attack, I'll stand and fight with everybody here.
Yeah, we will too.
Then let's talk more later.
That's a promise.
I'll see you when you get back.
That is a blatant lie, Your Majesty, and you know it, but, yes, indeedy. We seem to be getting some new abilities, so again, the king isn't entirely without mercy, but, yeah, he's not gonna be waiting around for us to smell the roses. Although the next time we see him, he is gonna be dropping some plot things that involve future games in the Kingdom Hearts series, and, I guess what I might explain it a little bit more when we finally get there, but since we got nothing but time at this stage, yeah, to say that Kingdom Hearts began to really enjoy using the pull the rug out from under you twist quite a bit, it got its origins here, and while I do think it works relatively well within the Kingdom Hearts sense, or at least for this game, later games kinda take it to a very extreme degree. In fact, again, I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard a rather, well, divisive one has actually happened in the end of the Kingdom Hearts Dark Road mobile game, so yeah, I'll keep those Xehanort-y thoughts to myself for the time being as we return to Tron. Anyway, we also received a new ability. This is Master Form. Well, actually no, we're receiving new abilities all over the shop. First of all, our summon, Ukulele Charm, which pretty much allows us to summon Stitch. A pretty useful summon, actually. Although, again, I'll show it off a little bit later when we have time, but, yeah. Anyway, as for Master Form, it's basically one of the lesser used forms, and something that, again, it is quite useful, but, yeah, I just don't find myself using it that much, because, well, I mean, I suppose it is meant to be your end-all, be-all, ability thing if you don't know the requirements for getting Final Form, which can be a bit of a pain in the ass, but I don't know. I mean, Master Form is useful, and I am going to be showing it off, you know, to show how you can use it, because again, it is quite useful in combat, but yeah, apart from that, it's just, well, stuff, really. In any case, let us enter the Matrix, by which I mean the Trontrix. Or whatever. By the way, damn it, he's not doing it here, but, it might have been the last part, actually, but, oh no, it might be a later part I'm thinking of, actually. But, yeah, pay careful attention to how Sora types on the computer, because, and again, I guess this is apropos for him growing up on an island, but he, and again, some people even, like, in today's day and age do it as well, but, like, he types on the fucking thing like he's using a typewriter, like, yeah, just using only his index fingers in that fucking cartoonish fashion. I don't know. There's something about that always just kind of makes me laugh to some degree. And I mean, the fact that it still happens nowadays is even funnier, since well, I mean, then again, I guess maybe touchscreen technology maybe makes people not used to keyboards or some shit, but I don't know. It's amusing, and let me laugh with my jokes.
Well, I didn't touch nothing.
Welcome to the game grid.
Game Grid?
That's right. You've been chosen to play a few games. Lose and you will be subject to immediate de-resolution. Win? Well, no one wins.
You're not gonna play your games.
You have no choice.
Well then, get on with it.
Yep, they weren't gonna get past this Tron adaptation without letting you use one of the movie's biggest set pieces, the light cycle. And I mean, it is a pretty cool looking motorcycle, so I'm kinda happy for its involvement. I mean, its gameplay isn't exactly much to speak of, it's kinda shallow to be perfectly honest. I think they did a better job of it in Dream Drop Distance, but again, you pretty much have 3 modes of attack. Fling your Keyblade, use defensive abilities, and I'm gonna talk over this cutscene because fuck it. Since we do have a little bit more to witness, that was pretty much just the tutorial, and now we gotta find the exit. But the Mukkup is gonna prevent us from escaping. So, yeah. Get to the exit, avoid the walls, and escape the maze of doom in this digital playground of hell. But yeah, you pretty much have defense, you have Keyblade, and then you have your... would it be the charge ability, or would it be the guard? I suppose guard, but I mean... Yeah, it's not really too difficult. The only thing you really need to watch out for is just crashing and just, well, taking out the enemies that are in your immediate vicinity. I mean, it's shallow, but I mean, it is fun enough for what it is, so it's a nice distraction. Though I do think the light cycle segment of Dream Drop Distance is infinitely better because you have it in more of a race kind of thing, and you have more, well, ranged weapon capabilities, which just, I don't know, strikes the gamut as a bit more exciting to me. Because, I mean, you can only really attack when you're just side by side with an enemy, whereas taking out enemies in front of you pleases me in that Twisted Metal Jack X kind of way. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the extent of it, really. Avoid walls and go left and right, left to right, right to left, like a manga. I mean, again, you don't get any health pickups as well, so I guess that's also meant to be the, oh, be careful, Sora, you're not in very good health because you didn't eat your vegetables. I mean, it's kind of weird though, like, I mean, you would have thought the MCP probably would have thought to block, like, the edge of the program at all costs, you know, to prevent Sora and Donald and Goofy from escaping. I mean, assuming they're all going through similar light cycle things, I mean, I guess I'm happy that we don't have to play, like, several rounds of this as different characters, but all the same. I suppose, since I haven't... Actually, no. We're nearly to the end. We're almost at the exit, though I'll talk about that after the cutscene. Go Thora light cycle.
Tron!
I don't understand. Why are you here?
We came to give you the password.
Why didn't you just transmit the data?
Transmit?
Hey, are you okay?
I'll be alright. Once we access the DTD.
Come on, Sora. Let's take Tron home from the digital bar where he got digital drunk and needs to digitally sober up. Digitally. But, yeah, now that we have a long commute of gameplay before we restore all of Tron's functionality, have I seen Tron the movie? No, I have not, but I probably should at some point. I mean, it's, I don't know if they've always owned the property or if it was something they acquired, like, sometime down the line, but, yeah. I don't know, I've always been interested in watching Tron one of these days, but just never really found the opportunity, nor had it... Like, I've never really seen it airing on TV, nor have I seen it, like, as like a DVD or whatever. I mean, the only thing I ever really knew about Tron was, bizarrely enough, Tron Legacy, which actually leads into a bit of interesting trivia I'll cover a bit later. But I mean, honestly though, like, if I ever get the opportunity to see it, I might actually give Tron a bit of a watch. Kingdom Hearts may be interested in the world, and who knows? I mean, I really like Bruce Boxleitner's performance in the game, so I'm gonna really enjoy it, I suppose. But anyway, now we can access more of the facility. And I suppose I might as well actually talk about Tron Legacy in a little bit more detail, because, believe it or not, with Tron being a surprise world in this game, because of its appearance in Kingdom Hearts 2, it actually got a popularity boost in terms of, I suppose, recognition and maybe, like, retroactive sales of the first movie on, you know, videotapes or DVD or whatever. But again, because of that bolster in popularity, that's how we eventually got Tron Legacy as a sequel. I mean, I don't really remember the reception of Tron Legacy. I think it was decidedly mixed, or just considered not as good as the first one. So, yeah, depending on how you feel about that movie, that's either a good thing or a bad thing. And I mean, speaking of Kingdom Hearts, they did actually do a Tron Legacy adaptation in Dream Drop Distance. And I mean, while I wouldn't exactly consider that the best world, I do like it in terms of gameplay for that game, so yeah, it's fun. And this is probably the Tron level at its most Shadow the Hedgehog, by which I mean the cyberspace levels. Retroactive looping, ho! And of course, as you can tell, with this big arena with lots of space, lots of computery things, seems like a lot of room for clusters and enemies to fight. And of course, by entering the Disney princess names, only Thora can say Kairi, the original girl from the games. Mysterious. pretty lights. Oh no! I wish I could switch from hibernation to active mode. Well, in any case, I think it's time to continue talking about stuff, which I'm apparently running out of. In terms of anything, so let's dig into the old trivia files and see what I can dig up. And all of that stuff is, for later. So yeah, pretty much a heartless attack. Defend the thing, use the clusters, and stop the, well, what would these be called? Like, defense protocols? Firewalls? I don't know. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I'm not really too sure how accurate Tron is with its terms either. I mean, I'm sure some of this stuff probably is, as I mentioned previously, like, legit computer jargon, like, you know, users, you know, passwords and all that kind of shit, whereas most other movies I think probably would have made up terminology like, oh no, they're hacking our subnets, quick, install more firewalls, use a Trojan virus to activate the shield Motron, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I think people probably would have been a bit too tech illiterate in the 80s to really notice, so you could have gotten away with it. Presumably.
I'm as good as new. All my functions have been restored.
Oh boy!
Finally, I have full access to the DTD. My takeover of the system is now complete. I might have anticipated such a simple password. What's this? An emergency destruct program for the town. Let's see how it performs.
No.
Program, you changed the password.
There, that should buy us some time.
Tron, tell us what's going on!
The MCP's loading a hostile program into the I.O. tower.
What do we do?
We've got to protect the user town. Let's head to the tower.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Whoa-ho. And anyway, with Tron's capabilities fully unleashed, we now basically unlock his limit break, and, well, he gets additional attacks. So, whoopee, he is now a bit more useful. I will say, though, his limit break isn't quite as, well, what's the word I'm looking for? Not spammable. I mean, it's not quite as direct as you might think, but I mean, it is pretty useful in a pinch. I'd say it's mainly useful around, like, multiple Heartless enemies, but yeah, I mean, you are pretty much stationary while you're using it, and again, while it does have, like, a sort of after effect where it continues to deal damage to enemies while you can, you know, run off and swing away with the Keyblade, yeah, it's just alright. That's pretty much all I'm gonna say. I mean, I suppose if I could say anything about the level itself in terms of, structure and design, aesthetically it does match up with the movie, you know, in that typical, you know, computer lines, that sort of thing that I guess maybe kind of inspires the kid in you. Is like, wow, inside my computer there's lots of lines and inscriptions which, you know, you'd see if you looked at, you know, sets of computer chips or dip switches or whatever else if you cracked open your computer case way back when. But again, in terms of how the stage is designed, in terms of, you know, level structure, it's still quite linear, as on par with most other levels in Kingdom Hearts 2, but I'd say that in a similar vein to KH1, it does kind of design itself in a mentality of you're going through like a lot of condensed rooms or whatever, kind of like the area we're in now, really. And what it's going to be doing is basically squeezing as much gameplay out of you as possible. I mean, you do have a few interconnecting areas like this between, you know, the power core and the pit cell and, of course, the room we were just in, but again, you get a fair bit to explore. The vista's inviting, and well, I mean, really, when it's all said and done, it's a pretty beautiful level. Oh, look, a hallway like Final Fantasy 13, ha meme from 2010, or whenever Final Fantasy 13 came out, which I think was 2006, I think? I can't remember, actually. Doesn't really feel like that long ago, but whatever. It's the hangar bay with a Thor or Thalariv. Actually, can we go out there right now? I think we can, actually, to get a few treasure chests, but, yeah, we won't need to use the Soul Sailor until much later, which contains a minigame that I actually kind of failed at the first time I tried that, much to my shame. Oh yeah, actually no, we've already fought those hollows before. Those are pretty much the, oh no wait, those are the Wind Nocturnes. They're just given a bizarre color palette because computers. They all have bright lights and lines on them. I wonder if we'll find Gex in this level. Considering it kind of looks like the internet level of that game. Yeah, let's see, anything else to talk about. I mean, Sora's outfit is pretty goofy looking in this game. I don't know why he has the jet-powered handlebars at the back of his head, but whatever. Yeah, I suppose I should probably talk about something else about limit breaks. Like, sometimes you either press, the reaction command button to, utilize attacks. Sometimes Sora also has a few attacks of his own. Like, I think I might have pointed this out in the Land of Dragons. But, yeah, Sora has his own unique attacks, and, Milan also has her own unique attacks, accessible via the reaction command, which, again, continues the ever-present theme of duality in Kingdom Hearts, but, yeah. Kinda like that, it does add, like, a few bits of dynamics to the gameplay, and I suppose could also employ a few strategic elements, like with certain enemies or bosses maybe having weaknesses to one or the other. I don't know. It might be something worth experimenting with if I ever pick up this game again, which it probably won't be for a while, but, Kingdom Hearts 2 is the kind of game, the sort of good kind of game where, you play it, complete it, and, you feel satisfied upon its completion. Like a hearty meal. Joy, 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 joy. It's a computer. Hexagonal. Yes. Oh yes, time for a visual image thing. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Batman. I have no idea why I mixed Batman and the Twilight Zone. Now we get the Gaia Belt. More defensive upgrades. In the upgrade. Yes. I suppose I should probably also talk about my defensive, strategy. I mainly just go for, defense and strength upgrades in terms of, like, what I'm equipping here. I'm not really too picky about my loadout in terms of, like, defensive buffs for, elemental stuff such as, fire, lightning, or, blizzard or whatever. I don't know. Maybe if you have a loadout specific to a certain boss fight, it might, like, ease the flow of combat, but I don't know. I mean, so long as I think your defensive strength's probably up to snuff, then you probably shouldn't worry too much. Although, then again, I suppose that might also play more of a factor if you're playing as the offensive or magic character. Which, I mean, I suppose in that case, because, I mean, going for the offensive build, with the sword as opposed to the shield, yeah, you can get your ass kicked quite swiftly, so, yeah, maybe that might be part of the reason why it'd be worth investing. I was curious, I never really thought about that before, but, yeah, choose your builds wisely. And now it's time for a boss fight.
I'm disappointed in you, program. Why do you insist on allying with these selfish users?
Because I want to help them. Something written into my code commands me to do what is right.
Really? And what command would that be?
I can't really say for sure.
Friends, they help each other, that's all. Uh-oh, look out!
So, this is a computer thing. Satellite dish. I have no idea what the fuck this thing really is, but, yeah, this, was a bit of a poor choice of... Actually, not necessarily, but, yeah, I didn't intend to start off with Tron's Limit Break this quickly, because basically what you're meant to do is basically pick up the clusters, use a reaction command to freeze it in place, and then Tron's Limit Break probably would have been a little bit more useful, because again, with his final running executable, reprogram Limit Break, you can basically unleash those little clusters to, well, attack the enemies. But yeah, without the clusters, this thing basically moves around at the speed of sound, so yeah, that's why you gotta freeze it in place, whack him down, and repeat the process ad nauseum until you drain all his delicious health bars of health. And now we're out of magic. Again, you can pretty much pick up additional clusters to prolong his suffering, but yeah, it'll basically run down, you just gotta repeat the cycle and avoid his attacks, really. A bit of a simple boss fight, but again, this is pretty much part 1. I mean, really, the only sort of attacks that are really that damaging is his ring around the rosy, poker full of posies, a tissue, all about the Black Death. Basically when it goes around the arena in a fast circle. Nothing too bad though, but yeah, also using Goofy's limit break because we need to spend some quality time, bowling shields. I mean, this is pretty much a copy of Ansem's boss fight with the Guardian when he charges you. I mean, really, there's not much to say about this apart from his, like, fucking laser disco thing. Because he's a shiny disco ball. Come on. Your fate is sealed. Yes, indeed, it is over, and I just want to grab Sora's handlebars and go for a ride. There we go, that's the ticker, and of course we have a Vicinity Break. Which I can't remember what that does, so that means I probably didn't equip it. Heck, whatever.
I really owe you one. With all my functions up and running, I think I've got a chance of getting system control away from the MCP. Now, I'd better get to work. It's what my user would want.
What Ansem would want. Listen, Tron. We didn't get the password from Ansem. We just sort of found it, back in the user world. By accident. And one more thing, Ansem, he was our enemy. I mean, he still is, I guess.
Well, actually, he's my enemy, too.
What do you mean?
Ansem took Encom's original system and customized it for his own use. I was part of the original system, and Ansem modified me, too. So, that makes him my user. But Ansem is also the one who brought back the MCP. The Ansem I first knew wouldn't do that. I'm sorry I didn't tell you.
That's okay, but now I really don't get it.
I don't understand it either. But I think users like you are going to be the ones who will finally figure it out. You have the ability to take illogical routes and still arrive at the answers you seek. Now go, before the MCP starts acting up again.
Yep, that's pretty much the end of the world here, so on that note I am Solidus-Skully, keeping new metal, and next time on the Kingdom Hearts 2 commentary, well, we're pretty much going back to the real world. Oh yeah. And also, if I can say anything before I sign off, I really like the friendship between Sora and Tron. It's incredibly sweet and heartwarming.
Any data you need from the DTD can be accessed directly through my user's terminal. I'll keep a dedicated access channel open for you. I changed the password, so you won't have to worry about the MCP for a while.
Access channel?
I knew you'd ask. It's a very important link between our worlds. It's how we stay connected. You, my friends, are the new password.
Thanks, Tron. Take care.
You too, and give my best to the users.